Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Reacting Reddit, where real humans read, react, respond to Reddit stuff. Today we're going to be talking about the app Parler, which basically just got kicked off the internet. So let's talk about what Parler is, why it got shut down, or it's not actually shut down, we'll get more into that, and then we'll explain or read and react to these comments. So first off, some context. What is Parler? So Parler is a social media website. The difference with Parler is that it has almost no moderation. So something like Twitter or Facebook, say that somebody makes a post and is like, hey, I think that all of you people should go get guns and go shoot people at school, right? Most of these platforms would take posts like that down, whereas Parler wouldn't. Parler is like, oh, free speech, you can say whatever you want, even if it's inciting violence. So that became a problem because of the Capitol riot in the United States in the beginning of this year, where a mob got inside the Capitol building and the senators had to evacuate, which is pretty insane. It was the first attack on the U.S. Building since the British burned it like 200 years ago. So it's actually quite a serious deal, even though it's U.S. attacking U.S. people, so it's not like it was a foreign invasion. But it's a big deal, and it's going to be quite interesting, actually. For me personally, I think that it's a good thing that the senators got scared. I think that's very valuable because in general, politicians are so separated from their people. And senators in the U.S. especially, they're so fucking wealthy. They have so much money. And in general, they're fine. They're above all of the problems in the country. And a lot of people are frustrated that the government said they would give money and then procrastinated and took time and argued for months. Meanwhile, people were getting kicked out of their houses, losing their jobs, having very harsh realities. Meanwhile, these politicians are able to just be fine. And I think that's dangerous. It's dangerous for the politicians to be so disconnected from the regular day-to-day people, especially when so many people are dying right now. There's more people dying to COVID in the United States than any other killer. Heart disease kills less people. Cancer kills less people. For some frame of reference there. So it's very important. And I understand that it's hard and it's scary, but it's a good thing that these politicians went through this. They were just forced to evacuate, and they were scared for their lives. They were people with guns. They were touched by the chaos. Finally, seriously, finally. Like, I know that I'm not happy that these Trump supporters did this, and I don't agree with the Trump supporters, but there's no way that this is going to make the politicians less sympathetic towards people who are struggling, right? The politicians had a fire lit under their ass. They faced reality for a minute. Yeah, it was only for a day, and now they're going to go back to their regular cush lives where they're not in danger at all, and they can work in peace and quiet, separate from all the rest of the world. Yeah, they're going right back to that, and it's going to be fine. They don't have to fear for their lives or anything. But I think that it was a good thing that happened. That being said, a lot of tech websites are taking a hard look at Parler, okay? Because Parler had a lot of posts that were inciting violence, basically. So that's the main reason that these tech websites pulled their support. Because it's not that Parler was actually shut down. It's that a website needs to pay for hosting options, right? And the main hosts are Google, Amazon, that kind of stuff, right? Well, Facebook, Google, and Amazon all got rid of support for Parler. So basically Parler now has to support itself, which is possible. It can host itself, and it will find another hosting option, but having support removed from all the major tech companies, it's hard to keep running at that point. And one of the reasons this is so controversial is because Parler has a very high concentration of Trump supporters who use the website. So for them, this is a total attack on their free speech. And in a lot of cases, that is a good argument. But when your free speech that's being attacked is actually causing violence and death, how do you respond to that? How do you deal with that, right? So it's complicated as well because the tech companies are more allied democratically than Republican. So the fact that these democratically leaning tech companies took down a big Trump, I try not to say conservative because Trump supporting and conservativeness aren't the same thing. They're really not. A lot of people are like, oh, Trump supporters, those fucking conservatives. And then meanwhile, conservatives like, oh, they're fucking liberals. And they all just hate each other and it's dumb. Really irritating. Why can't America, the country made of immigrants from religious freedom from all over the world, you would think that their country would value having different opinions and they would treat each other with respect because they are the mixing pot of all the cultures from the world. But no, they just hate immigration and yell and argue with each other, just like the rest of the world. It's really sad. So now you have some context, a lot of context about Parler. Let's get into these Reddit replies, see what people have to say about it. This topic was originally by Uberfission. First reply is by Picuron, and it says, this does not mean by any means that Parler is gone for good. This just means that instead of being hosted by an American company on their servers, they're likely going to move to a Russian server hosting company. Win-win for them. Russian hosting is cheaper, and they also don't need to fear the American government prying in their app. There are quite a few people asking why they don't host their own server. Here is a whole bunch of reasons why they can't do that. Yeah, so basically they can't host their own server because they're too big and it costs too much money. So you have to work with the services of huge server hosting farms to do it for you because they have scaled so much that for them it's affordable and they can push those savings onto you, upcharge you, but you're still spending less money than if you were doing the whole thing yourself. So this is a very good point, actually, because there's not really anything stopping a website from just changing its hosting services. It is a problem if Amazon, Facebook, and if Amazon, Facebook, and Google are not showing you, that's a huge problem because it also means that you're not gonna show up on YouTube or in Google searches. It's gonna be hard to find the website. So basically, they're able to move the website on to another website. It'll still exist, or another hosting service. The problem is that the new organic traffic for that website it's going to be really hard to get new people to go to the website. It'll be easy for people who already use the website to invite other people and share it that way, like they can organically share and grow the website. But it's no longer going to be like, oh, if you go Google Parler, nothing's going to show up, even though you could go to parler.com. It's kind of like there's websites related to drug information and stuff. Like there's websites that have dosage information, like things like arrowid.com. And if you Google these websites, they don't show up for the same kind of reasons because their content is viewed as not endorsable basically by Google. And yeah, you could argue this is not a black and white topic. You can argue all day about it and there are going to be good points on both sides. Running a Dorito says, you realize it likely has to be rebuilt. This isn't a static HTML page and was running on Amazon web servers. Highly doubt that this is containerized. There's a lot more work than switching servers. Amazon Web Service is so big though that it's not as simple as just switching services, but it's ignorant to think that a website with a huge following, because whether you like it or not, this website does have a large following. There are a lot of people who support Trump. Unfortunately, for people who don't like that fact, I mean, it's true. Whether if you dislike Trump and you're listening to this, the reality is almost half of our country elected him. So yeah, a little bit more people voted for Hillary Clinton, but that doesn't mean that almost half of the United States didn't vote for him, because they did. There's a lot of people who support him. So even now that he's lost, you can hate that and you can hate those people, but you are cutting out a part of your own country. Whether you like it or not, Trump is part of the United States. He represents a lot of the struggle and reality of the United States. And as a person who dislikes or likes Trump, either way, if you're hating and pushing the other side away, you're failing to understand your own country, because the United States isn't just Democrats, and the United States isn't just Republicans. The United States is basically Republicans and Democrats, and then a tiny, tiny, tiny minority of other people. And by always polarizing these other people, you're just gonna, you're not gonna convince the people you're hating that they should change their ways. You're just gonna make them hate your kind of people more. So yeah, I'm not trying to defend Trump, but I'm also trying to say, you are just as bad as the people who are spreading hate if you spread hate about Trump. You can spread things that make him look bad, but if you talk about him the way most Trump dislikers do, where they're just constantly looking for something to attack him with, it's understandable, but it's also it's ignorant and it's naive to think that those kind of actions are going to get people to listen to you, because you don't get people to listen to you by attacking them. You get people to listen to you by hosting conversations and listening to other people first. If you don't listen to other people, nobody's going to listen to you, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. Esther Quito says they were #1 in the App Store, I think. This is the worst time for them to be down from a business perspective. Trump will also be looking for a new platform, and I don't see him as the type to wait for Parler to get back up and running. If Trump gets established on another platform, Parler's going to lose their target demographic. And from a real-life perspective, the inauguration is in 2 weeks. This would hamper the ability for any potential attackers to organize an attack on it. Choco Dark Matter says, I'm curious what's preventing them from setting up their own servers and hosting their own infrastructure completely. Oh, okay. Well, the answer is that it's when you have a big website, it's very expensive for you to buy your own servers, pay teams of people to maintain everything. It's very, very expensive. It's cheaper. It's a better option for you to pay large companies who have made things on such scale that for them, the costs aren't that much. They already have people maintaining the servers. They already have a server farm. They're already paying tens of thousands of dollars in electricity every month. They're already doing all of that. So for them, it's not that much bigger to add to their potential what you need so that they can still meet your demand. It really is just a price thing. Eric Rolf says, Russian hosting, the refugee for white supremacist and child porn websites. Russia hosts a lot of the dark web. There is a reason that the majority of United States corporations ban Russian-based IP addresses. Stogie Smoker 85 says, as much of a ruckus that TikTok caused, it was nothing compared to this. Oh, that's funny. My new account 962 said, so I can't be a Parler influencer? I was planning on making ads promoting conservative coffee that tastes like coal. Wasn't there actually a conservative coffee brand? But even they said supporting murderer Kyle Rittenhouse was one step too far, and then MAGA World turned on them. I found it. It's called Black Rifle Coffee. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, this is accurate. So the title of this post is Parler has been shut down, which wasn't true. As this person, Milhender, points out, this is misinformation. Here's the unaltered title. Amazon cuts off Parler's web hosting following Apple. Google bans. The app will need to find new web hosting by Sunday or go offline. As of now, it's still fully functional. And the post has been slapped with a misinformation flare. Thank you. Good point. Red Squirrel for the win says, and this is why you don't build a platform that's based on using an app. Apps are at the mercy of Google and Apple. Make a standard website and anyone with a web browser can access it. I don't know why apps are even so popular. Why code your stuff twice when you can just code it once? I assume they were, wow. Okay, this person doesn't really know what they're talking about. I assume they did it also have a website though, so this is not really a big deal for them either way, I imagine. Well, it is a big deal. Losing, like I mentioned earlier, if you lose the good graces, so to speak, of Apple and Google and Amazon, it becomes very, very hard for people to find your website online. So you have to bring people to your website yourself, which is totally doable, but it's way harder. It's always easier when you have to bring people to your website yourself, but basically for every one person you bring, Amazon, Google, Facebook, all that's going to bring 1 to 20 people to your website. So it's always more effective. They amplify what you're already bringing to the website. But now that this website doesn't have to deal with that at all, or it can't deal with that, which is, it is going to be problematic for Parler. And the CEO has said that it's possible they'll go out of business now. So it's not accurate to say that, oh, they can easily just switch. They do have options. However, those options are expensive. You don't know necessarily how much money they have saved up, how profitable they were, how are they focused on building that website and continuing that, or maybe the creators and the maintainers have something else they'd rather work on. You never know the context. So it is actually, this is a big deal for Parler, and it's a big obstacle for them. And I don't know why this person thinks that like not running an app is like, some apps make more money than websites, like way more money. Like more people have access to phones than laptops and computers. So it's not accurate to think that apps are just this little thing that Google and Apple completely control. Well, they do control them, that's true. But like it's totally financially incentivizing to make apps and websites. You can't say that, oh, why would you have an app and a website? Why not just have one? Like it's always a much better financial potential to have both. All right, everybody, with that, that's it for this video. If you want to learn about anything else, please comment below and let me know, and I'll make a video, I'll research some stuff, and then I'll read some comments about it. Then, if you would like to make these kind of videos, please reach out to us. We are looking for other content creators who want to use software that shows you content from the internet and lets you browse, react, and filter it so you can make videos recording your screen, talking, and reacting to the stuff in front of you. If that's something you want to do, please reach out to us. Get our email from our YouTube channel, go to the About page, do the CAPTCHA code under the For Business Inquiry section, and say hello, because we want to Zoom call with you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.